Hello, this is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. So happy to be joined today by Jose Mozota, who is president of Freman Solutions, an AV training consultant company. MuxLab is a client of his, and the topic of conversation is, of course, AV over IP, aligning with our AV over IP deep dive, which is not only in the March issue of CI plus SSI, but also all over commercialintegrator.com throughout the month of March. We're bringing together the industry's brightest thought leaders, its brightest minds, to talk about AV over IP, a really ascendant trend. And Jose, I think you're probably the best person to bring on for this. You're not only a CTS, CTSI, Dante Level 3, Dante Domain Manager Certified, SDVOE Design Partner, HD-Base-T Certified Trainer, Google Cybersecurity Professional, and not to mention a speaker of 7 different languages. So I think we hit the jackpot as a thought leader here. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Dan, for having us.
So, Jose, let's get started with AV over IP. As I say, that's what this deep dive is focused on. Why does it seem to be such an ascendant trend? Why does it seem to be such a hot topic these days?
Well, Dan, I'm really glad that I have this opportunity to talk with your listeners about AV over IP, because that's very close to my heart. It's the most interesting application of AV that I can think of. Like, you know, and you heard it many times, for a long time, AV was a point-to-point kind of solution. We had to connect one point to another, different cables for different kinds of signals. It was quite difficult to actually design and implement AV solutions to satisfy the increased needs of the users. Around 2010, we had a breakthrough when HD-Base-T actually came into the market. It didn't solve the point-to-point, but it allowed us to put a lot of signals into one cable, but it still limited us to the 100 meters, 300 feet of a regular category cable solution. And the users actually wanted to consume content whenever they wanted, however they wanted, with the equipment they wanted, okay? And then suddenly, we had already been dabbling with audio over IP. I'm not sure that, because people talk about AV over IP, they forget about over IP, which was the original application, simply because audio has such a low bandwidth that many companies were able to produce solutions that allow you to transfer the audio over the network. Now, as the technology improved and as the manufacturers saw the capabilities of audio over IP, essentially the end of distance limitations, the ability of multicasting, and that is really the heart of AV over IP, the fact that you can multicast, the flexibility, the resilience, the interoperability, and the standards that are based on networking, actually that became more and more popular. And then we ended up with AV over IP, where we essentially have to deal with the triangle of image quality, signal latency, and signal bandwidth, and we can play around with those based on the different codecs that we use to compress the signals into the network. But once we get a signal into the network, we can do with it whatever we want. We can transmit it to New York, we can send it to Hong Kong, we can send it on a sports bar to 25 different screens, only sending one signal to the switch. So AV over IP continues to grow by leaps and bounds. I would say nowadays probably more than 65% of systems that are being installed are AV over IP. And if you go to large deployments like casinos, sports arenas, large concert avenues, congress centers, probably about 90% of all the deployments are becoming AV over IP.
I certainly agree that that's the case. And of course, as I said, MuxLab is a client of yours. You're here speaking on behalf of MuxLab. What would you say that organization is doing technologically, product-wise, just as a leader in the space, to drive forward this continuing adoption of AV over IP and its ascendance as a powerhouse in the industry?
Well, MuxLab was created in 1984. It's a Montreal-based manufacturer. It has always prided itself of producing products that are capable of delivering the applications and the results that the users will need. One interesting thing about MuxLab, we use a lot of FPGAs, like field programmable gate array chips, which, by the way, during the pandemic allowed us to play the game of trying to modify products to meet the lack of chips on the market. And doing that, I definitely developed a whole line of products of AB over IP. We have what is called the MIPS series. And with the MIPS series, from the 100 to the 800, you can choose and pick what I described before, that famous triangle. You can choose the latency, you can choose the signal bandwidth, you can choose the image quality. So you can go from a very reliable MJPEG type transport to H.264 to JPEG 2000. But do you want to do SDVOE? We also have a product that will do SDVOE. And because we come from the broadcast industry, we have done a lot at the beginning of our existence on the broadcast industry. We also have a product that will actually carry the signal using the SMPTE 2110 type protocol for transport, which makes it very, very interesting. It's one of the few products in the market that will allow you to connect HDMI into a network and produce a 2110 signal, which typically comes from an SDI system on a broadcast studio. So from that point of view, we have continuously been evolving the kind of solutions that we provide to the market. And we recently introduced Maximus, and Maximus, it's our control kind of center. With Maximus in your system, it will identify any AB over IP products that you have from MuxLab. It will allow you to control them. It will allow you to modify them. It even allows you to control Dante. We have a whole ecosystem of Dante products inside of Maximus. And Maximus can also run on a mobile phone through an app. So it is a very, very interesting control solution that allows you to use APIs for third-party control. So we can actually connect to Crestron products, AMX products, and BitFocus products at this point, and we continue to expand the range of applications that we can do with that. And the last product I wanted to mention actually won a Best of Show award at ISE this year, is the 500A90, where we combine an AB over IP transmitter receiver with digital signage. So the same hardware device can actually be in your network a transmitter or receiver of an AB over IP signal, but it can also run as a digital signage system being run from the cloud or from the network. And that is an interesting way in which we try to simplify the life of the designers and the people that work with our product line.
And there's so much appetite for these days. People are looking to have their lives simplified, their workflows simplified, and that's a really impressive offering, really an entirely impressive portfolio from MuxLab. Thank you so much, Jose, for giving us that insight, not only into the history of AV over IP and its ascendance, but also how MuxLab is continuing to be a leader in driving the space forward.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to your listeners, which I know are many.
Thank you so much once again, Jose Mozota, who is president of Freman Solutions, an AV training consultant company. MuxLab is a client of his, for joining today. Really appreciate having the opportunity to chat with you. My name is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. Please check back on commercialintegrator.com throughout the month of March for more content related to our AV over IP deep dive. And of course, the March issue of CI plus SSI, which is our full in-depth AV over IP deep dive report. We'll see you again soon, and thank you so much for tuning in.